Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Garadhara, Shri Vas Adi, Shri Gaura Bhakti Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dear devotees, Andriana, Ananda Sundari, David, I say, good to see you. Happily seeing you.
Dandavat Maharaj.
Our South Africans are the first, just see, in Sevarupa Didi. And Dana, almost in South Africa, in Florida.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Almost in South Africa. I love that.
And Praneshwari must also be almost South Africa because she's also in Florida. All right. So we have some devotees here, and some are on a short-term lease because everybody's got some responsibilities. So let us do a mini Vandanam because we should, and then let us begin. And if you have questions or contributions, always this is helpful. Oh yes, no translation required. True. Okay, English to English. So we will start with the very mini Vandana. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. And it can be all glories to Sri Sri Guru Gauranga. And it can be Sri Sri Guru Gaurangao Jayataha. But it cannot be, and Srila Gurudev has made this clear, this is direct from Srila Gurudev item, not simply all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. It needs a Sri Sri. It needs a Sri for each of them. So just a tip. As I say it, we just think of Gurudev and how he would give that guidance. And when Gurudev was young, you all know, because you've heard it from me before, and that's Gurudev saying, when they wrote letters, they would put God is good at the top of the letterhead. Three words. So this is our Vandanam. Okay, here is Paramananda Prabhu, who we have on a short lease because he is a busy devotee, and we are witness to that. It is not a rumor, it is reality. And so Paramananda Prabhu, he's been looking after so many things here, being with the devotees, and he is always ready to say something, but is asking first, do you have any question or contribution?
Hopefully.
Well, we're in Buddha's land where silence is gold.
I have a contribution in 3 parts. I'm going to put it in the chat because it just nourished my heart so much, so beautiful, and it's from Srila Gurudev. It's on revealed truth as well.
In the meantime, there is a very sweet contribution in the chat already. Danake is saying, Hare Krishna, sweet friends. Hare Krishna. We are honored to be included within the friends circle of the good people, good devotees, the good souls.
Oh, the owl care.
Where does beauty exist? Okay, this can get Paramananda started for sure. So I'm going to ask him to move one of these.
The devotees can just read whatever is in the chat. It's a nice story. But I first have to apologize to Praneshwar Didi. Really, today in the morning, after a few days of a break by health reasons and different bodily reasons, I couldn't attend the morning programs, and I came, and then Srila Didi was reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, and was the chapter when Mahaprabhu Yeah, I mean, he is in Vrindavan already. He is desiring to have a darshan of Gopal deity, but he is not going to step on the Govardhan hill. And so in his heart, he is desiring that. And then Gopal deity, eager to fulfill Mahaprabhu's desire for darshan, devised a plan. There's a certain conspiracy going on, and inspires some local people to think that there is some Pathan, Muslim soldiers are coming to attack the village. So on the pretext of that, the Gopal deity is removed from its original temple on top of Govardhan Hill and then taken down into a hiding in a nearby village, into an unknown place. And Mahaprabhu happens to be there and he receives the darshan. So I was right there. And I totally forgot about back to yoga for all. Bhakti yoga for all class. I'm so sorry. only when we had prasadam, and we're still talking. We were talking till 5 minutes. 5 minutes ago, we're still in a conversation with Shuleka Didi and all the brahmacharis there. That I remembered. Oh, I missed that. So please forgive me, Praneshwar Didi.
No problem. I was with Dana, and Dana is very sweet company.
But at least I was engaged in something useful. We're discussing many different things. Shuleka Didi, she's very resourceful and bringing up all sorts of themes to discuss. But yeah, it's a beautiful quote from Govinda Maharaj. But what
Radha Sundari is raising her hand.
Okay,
Radha
Radha
Sundari, open your camera too.
I'm sorry, I think I did this accidentally.
Well,
Okay.
But
we
my
love to see
Dandavat
your hand.
pranam to
We
everyone.
love to hear your voice.
No,
How to put it down now?
It's
never
okay. No
mind.
worry. No worry.
Just keep it raised, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very happy to be with you.
So we discussed how inconceivable the Lord Leelas are. I mean, Gopal is a very good example. Mentioned so many times. Madhavendra Puri's, what's the chapter called? Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. That's the chapter in Chaitanya Charitamrita that deals with the appearance of Gopal and how Gopal engages Madhavendra Puri to fulfill his desires. And then later on, Mahaprabhu comes, and again, Gopal is very proactive to satisfy his devotee. And really, he is expressing his will in so many multiple varieties. And when we think, we may have some idea how the Leela should go, but actually it's completely the opposite. We have to be open to infinite possibilities of his will manifestations, so make ourselves available to be a part of it. So it's either you're in or you're out. So that was our morning discussion. So accept his will. However, I mean, it's infinitely whimsical when we're talking about Krishna Leela. There is nothing, I mean, someone said once, but it rings to, I mean, it's a correct description that even Krishna himself doesn't really know what is he going to do today. So that falls to Yogamaya and Baladev. Yogamaya creates the scenarios and proposes, and Baladev supplies all the necessary ingredients, and Krishna just manifests his will. And the Leela, in its infinite variations, is ongoing all the time, at any moment. So we're remembering how Gopal later on manifested his Leela, and Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he mentioned only twice his own life experience in Chaitanya Charitamrita. First was when the incident happened with his brother who attended Minikirtan Aram, and Lord Nityananda appears in his dream and instructs him to go to Vrindavan. And the second incident is when he witnessed how Gopal came down from his temple on top of Govardhan Hill to satisfy the desire of Rupa Goswami, because Rupa Goswami was he was very old at that time, and it was going to depart, and he also desired to have a darshan of Gopal deity. And on similar pretext of the soldiers attacking the village, attacking the temple, he's coming down and he's hiding somewhere in Mathura in some devotees, some Brahmana house, and then that's where Rupa Goswami and all the Goswamis present, they're receiving darshan of Gopal. And then how later on, after a short while, actually, he decides to leave Vrindavan because the times are difficult. The Aurangzeb is attacking the temples, breaking the deities, and Gopal is arrested, and he's in prison behind the bars in Mathura. And then the devotees, that village, would take care of Gopal deity. They all get together and they brought them out of the prison. All of that, we were just discussing this very variations of Krishna Lila. And at some point he's connected to one devotee, on another point he's connected with another devotee. So Lila engages multiple devotees, multiple, and satisfying multiple manifestation of his will. So where is the beauty or where is the sweetness? So there is the beauty and there is the sweetness. Just to be open to these infinite manifestations of his sweet will. Do not try to limit it. Instead, we're talking about Sharanagati so much, but really the simple expression of Guru Maharaj, a true humility means to be open to infinite possibilities. Tells a lot. So it's the beauty and love that is in control of that. So we just need to make ourselves available to be used by that. Now I would like to pass, and I really have to run, so I will pass the microphone to Maharaj, whomever I may choose. Ramsundar. I have to prepare for something.
Okay, well, we have Ramasundar Prabhu here, and we already, from yesterday, voted him as our quietest speaker. And that's because he's been running around looking after the devotees throughout the last couple of weeks. Or is it more? Yes, more than me, 3 weeks. He's been running around looking after the devotees, doing many things in the ashram. And we know that seva is the all-important activity, and knowledge, it is there to help us and to get us on the track and to get us into the seva mode. So he's been giving a good example of seva, and Leela Moy Prabhu. So actually I'm accompanied by the two particular seva heroes who've prepared and got everything running for the festival and kept it running throughout the festival. And I mean, it's not only the festival, we are here now and several devotees are still here, and they're looking after the farm, doing seva by the grace, the necessity also of here, but by the grace of Paramananda Prabhu. And it does remind us of how Krishna has infinite servitors because there's so much to do, and one person can't do it all. And this Srimati Radharani, if we can be so bold as to say such high topics, she is serving Krishna, and she sees that all of the others who are there coming to supply the flowers, supply this, do that, that they are all coming, really doing her seva, but she can't be everywhere at the same time, as it were. So the service world, we have the example from Chaitanya Saraswatmat Nabadip, and we have this example from Gurudev and Guru Maharaj's time, where we have that Seva Loka, the planet of Seva, which planet is it all about consciousness, and really it was a planet of Seva, and is, if we can look under the surface also. So actually these two are the quietest two, but Leela Moy Prabhu has kindly made himself available a little more and has been very helpful for the Brazil Zooms and for other things too in the chatting. So he hasn't been as quiet as Ramasundar. Now, you may see Ramasundar and think that he is a 19-year-old brahmachari from Sweet Lake City. 19 years? 20. Oh, not a teenager anymore, getting all old around the edges. Just see, 20 years old. So he may look like a 20-year-old Sweet Lake City brahmachari, but he's been, what was I going to say? Okay, 19, 20. But he is actually doing what we're meant to do when we come to the temple. And that is, one is do what we're told. And the other thing is to be engaged 25 hours a day in seva. So this is all very practical things. And Leela Moy Prabhu also, he's a few days older than 20, but he's come to the temple, and with enthusiasm, with eyes open, then he's come to the association of devotees and is following sweetly this channel to only put our ears, our thought, our heart in the channel of Guru Maharaj, Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada, and stay safe by keeping away from all criticism of anybody, not hearing it, etc. And this is Upadesh Amritam, which I hope everybody is familiar with by now. But this is the teachings of Mahaprabhu, and for a very good reason. All right, so I'm going to pass the microphone, which is part of the computer, over to Ramasundara Prabhu first, because he's been the quietest. And to be fair, we did line him up a couple of times to speak, but he lost his chance because others who were speaking were, as they say, on a roll, and that included yesterday evening. So we're still trying to make amends for his silence. So before he gets called away to do something, please hear from Ramasundara Prabhu. He is wise. He's actually learnt the whole Prema Dharma Deva Stotram, which you do know is 70 verses. And he's learnt all those. And you can test him. He knows the meanings of each verse. What is verse 61? Okay, Sanskrit will come and the meaning. So this aspect, it's not a matter of age, it's a matter of catching things. But we're not going to let him get proud, like all here with balls and chains to keep him from flying off in the sky. And I think some of the devotees have been very successful to do that. So here we are, Ramasundara Prabhu, introduction, end. Start chapter 1. Please. Om. Everything is in Om.
What is your favorite verse?
Okay, well, that's my favorite verse is verse 70, actually.
Can you tell us?
Okay. Prema Hema Deva Dehi Dasaresha Manyatam Kshamyatam Mahaparada Rasiresha Ganyatam Rupa Kinkareshu Ramananda Dasa Sambaram Prema Dhamma Deva Evam Nami Gaur Sundaram. And it's the last one, and it's where Guru Maharaj uses his own name. He signs off basically, and like with Ramananda Das, and then he's praying to Mahaprabhu. It says my golden Lord is what he starts out with, and he says, "Oh, ocean of Prem, like please be merciful to me and grant me just a drop of your divine love." And then he says, there's unlimited offenses, and I've committed all of them basically. And so please, like, don't consider this. And then he says, there's so many servants of Srila Rupa Goswami. He says, my only aspiration is that I can be counted as one of the, like, my name is in that list of all those servitors of Rupa Goswami.
Okay.
Something like that is the translation.
And, okay, which is your favorite verse, Praneshwari?
I don't know them by heart, Maharaj, but all of them are so rich and so sweet and beautiful.
Well,
I don't
I
know
know
any of them by heart.
No, but the subject matter, if you like, that will let him catch the subject matter. Okay, one of my favorite is when he's going to Vrindavan through the jungle and the tigers and the deer.
Okay.
Okay, verse number?
It's 34. Vyagra Varnaina Vanya Jantu Krishna Gayakam Prema Nritya Bhava Mata Jadakanda Nayakam Durga Vanya Marga Bhata Macha Sangha Sokaram Prema Dhamma Deva Mevam Nami Gaur Sundaram. And as Maharaj said, that's where Mahaprabhu is going through the Jadakanda forest, and then he's inspired. As we can imagined and heard the substance and the intensity and the, you know, whatever, it's Mahaprabhu, so his Krishnanam is, you know, he's enveloped by the heart and halo of Srimati Radharani. So it's the highest quality of Krishnanam, so it's pierced through all the layers of even animal consciousness, and it's just struck them all in the heart, and he's inspired all of them to chant and you know, dance and chant Hare Krishna, be extremely happy, as we say. And all the trees are starting to bend over, and they're trying to touch Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, and like they're all like they're offering their flowers, and there's a bunch of like honey and stuff coming off the trees, and everything's just bowing down to the Lord, you know, and stones are melting and crying, and all the animals, the tigers and this and that, are chanting the holy name of Krishna. So.
And then when Mahaprabhu gets to Vrindavan, then there is another special verse which we're always very happy to recite when we're there in Vrindavan on the parikrama there, because this took place just behind our temple. And it's the verse where Srila Guru Maharaj is describing how Mahaprabhu sat at Imli Tala. So maybe we can ask this verse too.
Okay, that's verse 42. Atintadi talasta yamu normi bhavana plutam nirjanaika radikatma bhava vaibhava vritam shama radikapta gora tatva bidikakaram brahmadamadevam evam nami gor sundram. And that one's, yeah, about Imli. But it says a little bit in the translation that Mahaprabhu comes and then he sits under that tree, and then he's starting to reminisce, you could say, about his previous times when he was in, you know, Krishna Lila as Krishna, and he's remembering the cow sweetly calling his name, and then he starts remembering like intimate Jamuna pastimes with the Vraja Gopis and stuff like that. So.
And that's very dear to us. We can see that temple from behind. Praneshwari Didi knows that temple. Hare Krishna. And you see Mahaprabhu, Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, they didn't need a tablet or a, you know, a whole library of books. They are going into their own library inside their minds and reciting the slokas, but reciting them with meaning, not just like a parrot.
But talking about parrots.
Talking about parrots.
The next verse.
Okay.
43. The next verse, with 43 after 42. Sarika sukokti kotu kajalashalavitam radhika vyatita kamadeva kamamohitam prema vasha Krishna bhakta hrichtamakaram prema damadevam evam nami gaur sundaram. And that one, talking about parrots, is about Mahaprabhu. He's walking with his devotees, and then I think he sees a parrot, or a parrot lands on his hand, and then, or he just got some inspiration, one of those that made him recall the conversation. It's a witty conversation between a parrot and his mate, is what the translation said, but it's Sukha and Sari, and about how they're debating, you know, they're having some divine debate about who's more glorious, basically, between Radharani and Srimati Radharani and Krishna. And you know, obviously in our line, Srimati Radharani holds the highest position, so his Sukha was defeated respectfully, and submits to Sari and agrees with her. And then Mahaprabhu is relaying this conversation to his devotees, and then it says in the end that the Mahaprabhu was explaining that this like supreme quality of Krishna basically is that he can be subdued by pure love. And this conversation between Sukha and Sari is explaining that, or proof, you could say.
Hare Krishna. Oh, come join us. Looking very royal in her chair. Looking very regal in her chair. And Radha Kanta Prabhu joined, Radha Sundari, we know, Ganga Leela Devidasi, and Lynn also. Ananda Sundari, oh yes, Ananda Sundari we greeted just at the beginning. She was the first. All right. So Ramchandra Prabhu was not made up for all his silence over the previous 3 weeks. So maybe we can ask him how to keep up a savor mood even when you are completely tired and unable to do anything. Because I think that maybe have happened a few times.
Maybe a few, yes. Well, I think I like what Srila Madhusudamar said in one informal evening program we had, where a devotee was asking him his inspiration, but Maharaj just replied, "It's just the right thing to do." He's like, isn't it obvious, basically? It's just the right thing to do. So, I mean, that's a main motivator that, you know, like, that's one thing that, that's the thing that it's the thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It's the best thing to do. And then also that just how, like, inconceivable the fortune is to have, like, any remote connection whatsoever, you know, what to speak of the aspiration and the prospect that lies ahead, which is inconceivable in itself as well. It's all achintya. But yeah, that's the main thing, the motivator, that it's like, for me personally, I can't, like, if I have so much wealth in front of me, then how can I not be trying to give 25 hours, 8 days a week attention to this thing and everything I can do to pursue in that direction.
Jai. And it is true. And what is the alternative? The world, and day by day, and I heard from Salt Lake City or Sweet Lake City too, some of the ridiculous things which take place now in the schools. Probably not allowed to say that, but anyway, you know, from the official point of view. And David Shishru was saying about in England, we don't have to get into the details, but like official things. And then in relation to England, anyway, there was all this thing about, there's something about like naming a woman as a woman or something. How can you not name a woman as a woman in the official things? And then it just made me feel a little relieved that when we went to Bangkok, in the car, we pulled up and there they had women's parking. Mm-hmm. And you think, that is considerate. That's considerate. And then, you know, you get the opposite taking place where they think it's being, you know, everything's equal, and but being actually inconsiderate for those who probably are going to come out with heavy shopping bags. And the women's parking was right by the exit of the supermarket. And I thought, well, there we are, that's considerate. And that's when I learned that you can't say that in England anyway. Otherwise it'll be, you know, sectarian or something. Anyway, we don't want to go down that road. But being a devotee is the right thing to do. And there are unlimited wrong things to do, which we hear more permutations and combinations of them, if not every day, every week. And that's without reading any newspaper, any Facebook or anything. We just get, and a little thing comes in the conversation where, you know, we said, oh, you can't say that from Zoom. Why not? Oh, okay. So I can't say WOMEN on Zoom if it's going to be published in England. That seems crazy. Anyway, Hare Krishna. And Rupa Nuga joined us in a car. There's no need for you to buy a house, Rupa Nuga Prabhu. Oh, you're not in a car, you're in a boat. I'll buy a boat instead. Actually, I can't see where you are because it's kind of fuzzy. Can you turn on your microphone? Oh, yeah, well, you did buy a house and you're in that house. Okay, well done. You're in your house on the island. Look at that. Even
Yes, in a boat in Brunswick Harbour.
Oh, Brunswick Harbour. Okay,
Yes, yes. I'm back.
I'm back.
Rejuvenated, replenished.
Okay, good for you, Rupanuga Prabhu.
Yeah.
And everybody happy with your presence and your sincerity. By the way, your singing also, Rupanuga Prabhu. The devotees saying with what sincerity you are singing. And so
Oh,
we are all happy.
oh I'm really happy.
And one devotee said, honestly, it brought tears to her eyes. Your
Oh,
singing.
oh, thank you. And I felt so embarrassed by my lack of singing. I had no lungs. Wait till you hear me next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do look forward to that. All right. Then we have Leela Sundar Prabhu here. Sorry, Leela Moy Prabhu here. But we want, so we come over to Leela Moy Prabhu. And we have Jai Gauranga. Oh yeah, who's very expert in hiding. You see, he's in the room, but he's behind me. You know, what can we do? This humility, giving honor and not wanting honor stuff is very tricky. Hare Krishna. So, Leela Moy Prabhu, a few words from you, and I know you're prepared, so first say what you have to say, and maybe somebody will ask you a question.
Okay. Madhana pranams to all of you. Good to see you all. When I heard about this seva, when you're tired, when you cannot do anything, I remember a phrase that Praneshwari Didi always, I heard she saying this a lot of times, that something like seva, it's our life. It's what gives us life. It is the air that we breathe. And to be in that mood, we can really progress in our spiritual life. And I am having this chance here to be, I think one month here. It's been like another world for me. I'm having this opportunity to be with all these amazing devotees. I don't have any capacity to memorize verses or anything, but I'm trying to be here trying to serve them somehow. I don't know if I'm doing this well, but I'm really trying to do this. And it's really beautiful to listen all these words all the time. And Shileka is here with us also. She's so amazing. I really want to have her association all the time, because it's so nourishing for ourselves, and not to be, and we must try not to be on just in the theory, in the reading books, reading all the time, but trying to practice. This is our goal, to practice Upadeshamrita. It's an essential thing for us, and try to remember all the time and trying to practice, putting practice. This is really useful for us, not just being theory, memorizing all the books and everything else and not practicing. Of course, memorizing is really good for us, but I think the practice is really useful. And I think that's it, what I'm saying.
And the questions that are going to pour to you now?
Okay, questions? Maybe not for me. Okay, any questions? No questions, then Jagoranga Prabhu.
When is saffron coming to your white? Because you sound like you're very, very saffron.
I don't know about that, but it's not to me to decide that. I'm here. I'm here to serve.
Good answer. Wonderful answer.
And he has expressed sincerely his wish. So everything is good, and knowing that you and I know other devotees have this wish for him, then we can also be hopeful for the future. And we want to be hopeful for the full future and not just the future until it rains, something like that. Okay, I have a question because you're all so quiet. So those of you who were here, you know that we gave some stress to the Upadesh Amritam. So my question is to Leela Prabhu. What is the essence of each of the 6 things to senses, the 6 bad things, the 6 good things? Have you remembered them, or can you tell us?
I remember the first one. It is to control the urges of speak, of the mind, of the anger, of the tongue, what we eat, and of the stomach, the belly, and the genitals. I think this is really useful to remember. I think this is accent, right? The essence.
Well, that's our
the
senses
essence.
to control. And what's the Sanskrit?
Oh, no, I cannot remember. Vacho vegam, manas sakroda vegam, jiva vegam, udaropashta vegam, etam vegam jo vishahita diraha, sarvam apinmam pritving sat shishyayat.
If Paramananda Prabhu was here, he would be proud of you. Okay. And then now our 6 harmful things, which actually it says will destroy our devotional service. It's not just unfavorable.
Okay, it is to collect more than necessary.
Or
eating more than the necessary and collecting more funds than necessary. And then endeavoring for mundane things that are very hard to obtain. Talking unnecessary mundane subjects. Practicing the scripture rules just for practicing, not or giving a lot of attention or not following. Associating with non-minded persons, non-devotional mind persons,
and non-minded also.
Yeah. And be greedy for mundane achievements.
Okay, very good. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, we've got correct all around here. And then we're just going to ask you one more verse, and then we'll think we may supply you your prasadam today, if you get it right. Verse number 3, the 6 favorable things, which actually in the translation is given, will certainly give us the result of devotional service.
The first, it is to be enthusiastic, to be endeavoring with confidence, patience, following the 9 principles, Shravana, Kirtana, Shmarana, Vishnu, Shmarana, hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna, abandoning the association of non-devotees, following the footsteps of the previous acharyas.
Okay. Lunch will be served. And you are the server of lunch anyhow, so just as well you've got it all right.
He gets an extra gulab jamun.
Yeah, chai.
Well, someone will have to make a gulab jamun first. We haven't seen a gulab jamun in a while. Hare Krishna. Okay, good. And Sevarupa knows them? Just say yes. Just smile and say yes.
Yes.
Okay, you did well. All right. Anyway, beautiful. And we do want to remember these as we are doing, but we do want to put them into practice and be conscious of each of these 666 items, and then embed in the next 6, and then the 3 and the 3 and the 3, because there is a system through this. But here we are. This is the very foundation. So anyway, you know this already, but seeing as none of you had a question, then I thought I'd be cheeky and ask this question of Leela Moy Prabhu. And hiding still is Jai Gauranga Prabhu. Yes, Jai Gauranga. You have a quiet voice anyway, so please come close to the microphone, even if it's only to send your obeisances.
My obeisances.
But that wasn't loud enough.
Dandavats to the devotees. Dandavats. I don't really know what to say. I'm not very good at talking in front of people, so I'll try not to say anything too embarrassing.
They're not people, they're devotees. Different.
Of course.
It's our family.
Maharaj,
Yes, come.
when I see Jai Gauranga Prabhu, I'm always thinking that he's a reservoir of many wonderful, nourishing bits of nectar, and this inspires him for his incredible dedication to seva. So I would love to hear him reflect some of those things which are on his mind currently as he goes about his service.
Perfect. And so many devotees, by the way, behind his back, so we also say, so he can't hear, say what a sweet devotional mood he's got. And this, when is especially being appreciated by the senior devotees, then we are very happy that it's not only 1 or 2 of us, but we're all pleased with him. And by the way, when he gets started, he can talk quite happily. We've heard him get started and chat away. So come, you may be that spark to ignite the explosion of Krishna Katha. Okay, you got a lot to live up to now. Over to you, Jai.
Well, something I've been really, especially this morning, I've been reflecting on quite a bit is that, you know, to have good association and to have good shelter is not only important, it's essential really for our spiritual life. And I feel very fortunate to have Maharaj Srila Madhusudana Maharaj's association and shelter. And because, you know, he is he's infinitely steady and infinitely, you know, patient and tolerant for myself. And no, but you know, the devotee, it's really important because it's really important because, you know, if we don't have that association and that shelter, we're kind of it's like I think in Prapana Jivanamritam, I think Jamunacharya, there's a verse, I don't know the verse and I don't remember the exact, I can give the gist slightly, but it's like, you know, it's talking about being in a boat in the ocean, being, you know, the waves are going and rising and crashing, and without having a good captain, without having someone to steer the boat and to and the help of a good navigator, someone to direct where to go so that you're not going into peril. Really, you're kind of putting yourself out, you know, in a situation where something bad will happen, and you will, you know, so the result might not come that you necessarily want to have. So yeah, that's my my reflection for today.
Well done, Kumkum. Jai. And Shishi Prapana Jivanamritam, it really is the life and soul of the devotees. All the way through that book. And the devotees who are here know that the altar here is the Prapana, well, in the main house, the altar is the Prapana Jivanamritam and the picture of the deities that is in Prapana Jivanamritam. So just to remind us. And I see in the chat box, yes, so we did ask Triguranku to speak a little louder. And I see that Sevarupa has given us those first 3 verses in condensed, in precise form. So good for us to copy and paste and to remember. But all of you remembered already. But there we are, Sevarupa. You did well. All right. And now, definitely not least, and may not be last. Yes, Praneshwari?
Yes, excuse me to interrupt. I want to take advantage that if you see the gallery view, you have Kumkum Didi next to you. And I want to invite her to read in the chat these excerpt from the finest conception of Srila Gurudev in a revealed truth.
Okay.
You have to scroll up a little bit. It's the second text.
And I was just about to introduce Kumkum Didi, and now we've got something specific to start your Hari Katha, Kumkum Didi, given by Praneshwari. And we are all ears because we don't have the bar open, so we are relying on your reading. So please transmit to us. Microphone.
And Kumkum Didi, when he said we have our ears open, he means we have our hearts open also.
That's my good fortune. And are you speaking of where Sevarupa Didi posted?
You have to scroll up. Is the second post after Dana K.
After
Dana, the first post is Dana.
Kumkum joined later. So I think when you join later, you don't get the early posts.
Oh, that's right.
What are the first words which you were thinking of?
Kumkum Didi, just wait a moment.
I will paste them again. You are right, Maharaj.
It's true. I calculated the time incorrectly. I was thinking it was 1 hour later than it was. I'm glad
I apologize on behalf of the governor of California.
I'm very enlightened to know that the reason is because we're always thinking of Sri Navadvip Dham. That's the center.
It is.
The center for all governors.
Yeah, the governor, Navadvip Dham. Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Mahaprabhu, Radha and Krishna. And by the way, Chaitanya Saraswat Math belongs to Mahaprabhu, Radha and Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay. I'm not certain that I yet see.
The last one, the last post.
Let's see. Is okay. Srila Bhakti Sundar.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is there. Yes.
Okay. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj revealed truth, the finest conception. Where does beauty exist? How can we find beauty? There is a nice story in the Puranas about Mother Lakshmi Devi's owl carrier, which explains this. Once, Mother Lakshmi Devi tested her owl by giving her a garland of pearls and saying, "Give this garland to whomever you think is most beautiful. Go out and search. When you find someone who appears most beautiful to you, give them this garland." And my mouse is not working. Is that the total of the quote?
No. It follows 2 of 3, and then I will post 3 of 3.
Okay, so that was one of three. And I'm not seeing anything after that.
2 of 3 starts with the owl went out.
Okay, got it. The owl went out and searched all over the whole world for anyone, any animal, human or thing, who had completely attractive beauty. Everywhere she went, she could always find some deficiency. She saw so many persons who were beautiful, but she could always find some deficiency in them. Finally, she became thirsty and returned to her home. When she saw her child, she immediately felt, oh, so beautiful, and gave the pearl garland to her child. Later, Mother Lakshmi Devi asked, what happened in your search? The owl replied, I went around the whole world, but I did not see anyone who was perfectly beautiful. Finally, I became thirsty and went to my house. There I saw that my own child was so beautiful. I gave the garland to her. Then, vision of love. So where is beauty? Beauty is in the heart. We see beauty through the love and affection in our own heart.
Our heart.
In our heart. Is that the
So
end?
we want to hear, yes, that's all. We want to hear from you about love, about beauty, about affection.
This is one of the greatest gifts that we've received from our guru, because no one will doubt that we want beauty. There's no one in the world that will deny that what we want more than anything else is to see beauty and charm. And for that is the greatest motivating factor in any subject matter. Whatever somebody wants, motivated by the hope that they will see the most beautiful. So for us to be able to be guided toward how that will actually come to us is completely amazing. We won't be dissatisfied because the beauty is coming from the platform. And that eternal beauty is within every single person and animal and plant and even rocks and water that we see, the sunsets that we see that are beautiful. We can become so enamored with them. But just seeing them and giving us that temporary happiness won't necessarily soothe us. But when we've understood, by the grace of our gurus who are constantly giving us these steps by which we can follow and actually be connected with the source of all beauty, is going to take us to that heart's fulfillment. Of this, there is no doubt. So that's why we want to always be in the association of devotees. Is that all right?
That's absolutely beautiful, but you can give us more.
It
We
can be.
take advantage that you were not coming, so now you're here.
It
We
can
need to listen. We are at your feet.
It can evade us very easily because there's an illusion over everything that is eternal, because this is what is teaching us to actually be in love with Krishna and Vaishnavas and all of his pastimes and his play. And so we have to diligently pay attention to that which will shield our eyes from this reality. Otherwise, we'll not understand. Some people may think that beauty comes in the form of power and struggle to have more and more power in this world. But then we see even in the demigods, even Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, we see that even when they tried and were so sure that they had more power than Krishna even, but because this is part of his pastimes, we also see how they tried to make amends and very profusely offered prayers to become reinstated in that reality, which is to be a devotee of Krishna. Beauty is in the heart. That is where we'll find beauty. There's no question, there's no surprise that we see beauty in so many places. We may see beauty in the forest, and that's undeniable. But you know, when we see beautiful landscapes, we can think they're trying to be. They're hoping that when they grow up, they get to be models for the artists that are painting the pictures that get into the books of the Vaishnavas. So that's their aspiration. It's easy to think like that. We can encourage them even. You become a devotee, you'll find all of this desire satisfied.
And we are in Thailand here, and most of you, even many of you, have been here just a few moments ago and still here with your hearts. But here they have so many kinds of course, tropical fruits. But one fruit, when you cut it open, nobody can see inside a fruit. Here is a Thailand fruit, okay? We will try to see the beauty in the fruit. But if you cut it open, then there's so much artwork inside. And we can say, no, with our vision, we can only see superficially in the case of a fruit like this. But inside, there is so much that nobody ever sees, but it's so beautiful. And similarly, when we fly, and most of us, we fly in airplanes from time to time, you know, it's not illegal to look out of the window and see out of the window. Nobody basically sees that view, well, until recently when people fly in airplanes. But there are so many, like, astoundingly beautiful things that only you will see if you are, you know, 30 kilometers tall, which nobody is. But now we're able to fly. So anyway, there's beauty everywhere. And then yesterday itself, and at about this time, then some devotees were here, and there was this insect, and we thought it was a bumblebee because it buzzed like a bee, and it was quite big, but it landed. And when it landed, it was all colorful. And actually, I should ask the devotee, actually we're visiting devotees, but I can ask them, they did take a photograph, and it's just so stunningly colorful under its wings, on top of its wings, its front, and you know where the wings fly, of course, then where the wings came from, like so beautiful, like iridescent greens and yellows, like this, and even little like hair legs almost on, you know, insects don't have big strong legs, but the legs were multicolored and like fluorescent practically. This is, beauty is everywhere. It is a fact.
Yeah.
And Chintamani joined us just now, and she is in, I think, well, she was going to Chicago, where yesterday, we all know yesterday was Srila Prabhupada's day, or even today, still Srila Prabhupada's day in the west coast of America. And we had Sri Lanka very happily telling so many, not stories, but leelas, pastimes of Srila Prabhupada. And one of those pastimes was that Sri Lanka and her husband, Sri Govinda, that they were sent to open a center in Chicago. And they're just on this, you know, knowing, okay, Srila Prabhupada's wish, we open a center. Then they go with practically nothing. There were two families that went there with practically nothing. And they went to Chicago, and then she was telling about that temple. And when Srila Prabhupada came there, and the temple room was the gymnasium of the YMCA. And from nothing, within a very short time, they purchased that place. And she's told with Srila Prabhupada's arrival there, that the place was completely packed. So this is a gymnasium. And all the stairways and everywhere, everyone's just trying to get a look to see Srila Prabhupada. So this is a little reminder of that description we heard from Sri Lekha yesterday. And Chintamani, maybe in Chicago. Her feet don't stay in one place for a long time, we must say. And she's put something in the chat, perhaps. Chintamani, yes, just arrived here to my parents' home. Acha, Dandavats. Did your parents see Srila Prabhupada in Chicago? No, okay. But they are in a place of Srila Prabhupada's pastimes. So this is another thing where Srila Prabhupada went. Very special. Where Srila Gurudev went, very special. Where Srila Guru Maharaj went, very special. Okay, dear devotees. And on Facebook, I know we're on Facebook, but we only have one connection. So I didn't connect there. But to those of you on Facebook, we should have given obeisances from the very beginning. And those of you who are seeing the recorded version, you are with us now, with each of the devotees here. And we are very happy to have your association. Chintamani saying,
Dandavat pranams from Nidupama. A very special message from Indumati in Australia. Jai, Jai Gauranga Prabhuji, absolutely so pure and unbiased. And yes, we all feel so much affection for Jai Gauranga, definitely.
Jai. All right, so dear devotees everywhere, visible and invisible, you are all beautiful, just like the inside of the fruit. We only see the outside. Invisible is always beautiful, beautiful with devotion. All right. And so we'll meet again soon, but please do remember, yes, from now onwards and forever, this broadcast means the Back to Basics is at 7:30 a.m. Is that correct? 7:30 a.m. Navadip time, and that time does not change. And we know different places, 1 year, even like Mexico, 1 year it changes, the next year it doesn't change. So it becomes very confusing. So you only have to think where you live, whatever change is happening there, and not think about, oh, when does California change its time, etc., etc. So this way, everybody, the Australians and the Europeans and other parts of the world, we keep some, anyway, all of us can keep some focus on Navadip, the very wish of Srila Guru Maharaj, the wish of Gurudev. Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sunda Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rock Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. And Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. And our whole Sri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. The present day Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari
Bhakti
Bol.
Raja Madhusudha Maharaj ki
Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Wishing you special days and much appreciation, of course, to Kumkum Devidasi, and always very valuable to hear from our senior section. Really it is. It's not just politeness. We hope we're polite, but it's not only a formality. It is reality. And we experience this. So to all of our senior devotees, to all devotees, our sincere appreciation. Sudevi joined us just now. Hare Krishna, Govinda Govinda.
It's an honor to have Kunkun Didi because she doesn't usually join. So when she joins, it's wow, very special. Very special. Thank you.
Indeed. Hare
Dandava
Krishna.
pranam.
Amber, Aschi, they're all chomping at the bit, as the English expression says, chomping at the bit, ready to get going. So I better let them do their savor. It's 10 o'clock here, and I'm sure they have 6 hours of savor to do before 1 o'clock lunchtime. 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, that's 3 hours. Okay, 6 hours savor to do in that time. All right, dear devotees, our obeisances.
Dandava pranams, Maharaj. Thank you so much. So very special. Beautiful. Thank you.